Welcome to my channel. I really appreciate everyone that is subscribing to my channel. I've got over 280 subscribers now, which I'm just amazed. I'm absolutely amazed. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you liking my videos. I appreciate you commenting on them. And I really appreciate you sharing them because I don't do any self-promotion. So any promotion that goes on my channel is strictly people viewing my videos and then sharing them with other people. Or YouTube, putting them up where people see them and get interested in them for some reason. Either the title or the information or something. So I just can't express enough how much I appreciate every single one of you. And thank you for your viewership. I want to talk about Colorado today. Last night was a devastating loss for the team. Not for me, because I'm just an observer, but for the team, it was a devastating loss. And I think it will hang over them for the rest of the season. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, I do not think Colorado will win another game the rest of this season. I'm going to show you the reasons why I think that. And of course, I could be wrong because Deion may find a way to motivate these guys to play better. But they're 7 games into the season, and they're 4-3, and they're making the same mistakes they've made all along. And I don't know if at this point Deion can fix it. They started out the season playing fantastic against TCU. That was a great game. On both sides of the ball, although the defense was weak, they played well enough to win. They played a good game against Nebraska, beat them soundly. But then things started to fall apart. And I can't help but notice that it seems like that coincided with the arrival of all sorts of attention to the team. Stars from all over the country showing up. Mega stars showing up at Colorado. 3 different TV programs. 4, 60 Minutes, First Take, Big Noon Sunday, and what was the other one? I don't remember now. Fox Sports. All showing up on the same day, the same weekend. And the attention was all around this team. It was like they were the darlings of the universe. And it apparently went to the heads of the players. And you can understand why. They're young kids. They're not used to the limelight, and all of a sudden here they have it, and they start thinking they're all that. But they weren't all that. And they started to show it in the 3rd game when they played CSU. They barely made it out of that game. And all the rest of the games that they played, they've been basically playing Russian roulette. And this time the chamber came up blank. They just collapsed. There's no other way to put it. It was the most embarrassing collapse in history. And I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at some of the stuff regarding the game. This, in my opinion, is the play that cost Colorado the game.
97 yards to go. Daniels finds his man.
The cornerback falls down. This guy takes off, and Travis can't catch him. Nobody can catch him.
The Cardinal.
He scores a 97-yard touchdown and makes the score 29-6. The game's still not out of hand, but Stanford found something. They found a guy that Colorado could not stop, and they tried everything to stop him except double teaming, which I don't know why they didn't double team him. But by the end of the game, this guy had 13 carries for 294 yards, and nobody even knows his name. Think about that for a minute. Nobody knew who this guy was. 294 yards. That's astounding. That's incredible. So let's look at what Deion had to say in his post-game press conference.
Hats off to our opposition today. They came back and played a heck of a game in the second quarter. They went on to get the victory. I'm truly upset. I'm truly disturbed. I'm going to try my best to stay composed and do the best of my ability to handle this press conference, because you deserve my best, and I'm going to try my best to give it to you. Started out the game wonderfully. Finally put it together in the first half like I desired, like we desired, like our players desired, and the fans. Wonderful first half.
Yeah. The first half made it look like Colorado was going to completely dominate Stanford. They could do no wrong. They were playing great. The defense was even playing great, and you thought, wow, they finally are putting it together. But then they went into the locker room, cocky, thinking it's over. And Stanford had other ideas.
Not nothing, I believe the score was there. Am I correct? And you surrender, I believe, 3 touchdowns unanswered, close to it, which I can't fathom. Right now, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. And then the thing just kept going left. I mean, at halftime, I talked to him about, the old cliche, people say it's 0-0, but that's not true. It's not 0-0, it's 29-0. But I felt complacency going into the half because we stalled offensively. We gave up some yardage as well. And just didn't like how I felt going in at halftime. We come back out, and here comes the complacency. Here comes that team that I can't stand, that you can't stand, that you can't understand how in the world that happens to us. But it did, and didn't turn it back on, I think, until late in the fourth quarter when we were able to go down and get a score, and we go down, and then they tied up, and we got overtime. And you don't want to go in overtime because they have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. I was surprised that they kicked the field goal the first time. I thought they was just going to go for 2 and try the best to get it over with.
Was killing you guys, and Travis was on him quite a bit. What were you seeing in that matchup between Travis and?
Well, we didn't play well, not just Travis. I think it all started when we gave up on the 97-yard touchdown.
Yep, that's when it started. And Travis did not play well on defense. He did play well on offense, but he did not play well on defense. And I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because he was out for 3 weeks or what, but he really seemed to struggle on defense, and that's not like Travis. That's definitely not like Travis. So something happened there. I don't know what. And Deion talks about it, but he's not going to say anything negative about his players. So he's not going to be critical like I would be. But something was wrong with Travis. I don't know what, but something was wrong with him because he was not playing Travis ball.
Flat out ridiculous. That's when it all started. That's when all the foolishness, all the complacency, all the mess started. I mean, how in the world we give up Jesus? Our secondary did not play the best game, especially at the cornerback position.
Coach, Matt Smith, 104.3 The Fan.
Yes,
It seemed
sir.
like in the second half, maybe just some communication issues there with the coaching staff. Did you feel that?
In what regard?
Substitution errors. it felt like-
Substitution on defense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There's so many different packages that you run and so many different personnel, but you got to understand we're basing our change of personnel on what they're changing. So that kind of happens when they having different personnel groups, and the referee is holding the game up, so we get a chance to substitute as well. What was happening is one guy was coming off the field appropriately, and he saw something, and he stopped. So that gives us 12 men on the field. It was things like that was transpiring, which we can't even wrap our head around it because we practice.
See, that's what complacency does. It gets you to make errors. He's coming off the field. He knows he's supposed to come off the field, but he sees something and he stops. And what happens? 12 men on the field. They had 17 penalties. 17. Stanford had 3. The penalties are the result of a lack of concentration, mental lapses. They had one series of plays where the right guard, or right tackle, who was a new guy in the game, I don't even remember his name, got a holding penalty for 10 yards and followed it up on the very next play with a snap violation for 5 yards. So he cost them 15 yards before they even got to run a play. It's mental errors. It's a lack of focus. It's a lack of concentration. And it all comes down to the players they don't have their head in the game. And I'm going to show you something that I think indicates that the problem is much deeper than that. But let's finish the press conference.
This stuff repeatedly.
Again, along the same line, some of the substitution things, the penalties. You've defended Coach Kelly at every turn.
Yeah.
This is one where now people are going to start pointing fingers, and you said,
Well, if you're going to point the fingers, point it at me, because if I'm allowing it, it should be on me, not him. Point it on me. We go over this stuff. And there are times where you know what group is in, you know what group you're on, but you have a lapse of understanding in those crucial moments. Right now, we're not built for the moment. We're not built for the moment. Some of our players aren't built for the moment where they have to make a play, or they have to keep contained, or they have to make a block, or they have to get another yard. We're not built for the moment right now.
What's really surprising to me about this is that the bulk of his players came through the transfer portal. These were people who wanted to play at Colorado, who wanted to play for Prime, and yet somehow they can't get their head into the game. I don't understand that. These are guys who, a lot of them were seniors and graduate students who want to go to the NFL. They're not going to the NFL. I hate to tell you this. Shane Cokes, for example, graduated from Dartmouth, was projected to be a 5th-round player in the draft, came to Colorado, and have you heard his name called? I believe Shane Cokes will not get drafted. He will not go to the NFL because he hasn't shown that he can play at the top level. And that's true of a lot of other players too. And these are players that came from really good programs, so you know they were good players, but there's something in their heads that just isn't right, and Prime hasn't been able to fix it. He hasn't been able to correct the problem.
Hey, Coach, Tyler King with the Denver Gazette.
Yes, sir.
You guys had 17 penalties tonight. That was something that was a positive for you guys early in the season, was the lack of penalties.
I didn't know it was that many.
What has led to the amount of penalties you guys have been accumulating over the last couple weeks?
Not being smart, not being disciplined, not understanding.
And what does he say? Smart, fast, disciplined. And that's what they're not.
Moment. That's what that is. Yeah, that's what that is.
Hi, Coach. Adam Musser, Tiger 24/7 Sports. We saw Trevor Woods play a little closer to the line of scrimmage at linebacker tonight.
Yeah.
Is that a matchup with Stanford, or do you like him in that role?
No, I love him in that role. I really do. We have some good safeties that we have, and Trevor is that kind of team guy that's going to do whatever he needs to do to help his team. And that's something that I'll do that. And I think he played well. I haven't watched the film yet, but thank God that he's willing to sacrifice what he's accustomed to doing to help us improve ourselves.
And Trevor Wood is a guy that played at Colorado last year and suffered through that 1-11 season and sat in the meeting room when Prime said, "I'm bringing my Louis luggage. You might as well jump in the portal." And Wood said, "No, I ain't going anywhere. I'm playing here. I like this place." And he's been playing hard, and he's been playing well. It's got to just eat at his gut what happened yesterday or last night. It just has to eat at his gut. It's a terrible loss. It's much worse than just a loss.
Hey, Coach. Jake Schwannis, DMVR.
How
Just
you
curious
doing?
about Travis, just his conditioning. Where do you feel like that
His
was?
condition is great. It was just some plays he made, some plays he didn't. Just so happens the plays that he didn't make at the end are magnified. But the plays he made, it kept us in the game.
Hi, Coach.
How you doing?
Nikki Edwards, Hughes Sports Report. I remember you said before that Shedeur puts on his cape and saves these games for
Right.
you. What kind of happened in overtime where maybe there was miscommunication on that play when it turned into an interception?
Yeah,
What were you
first of all,
seeing
he should have never thrown the ball. Should have never thrown the ball. I don't know if they played it on a replay to show what.
I'll put the link in the description, and you can watch the whole press conference if you want to. But this loss, if you think about a pebble dropping in a pond, this loss will have a ripple effect that I believe will kill this team's chances to win in the next 5 games. The next 5 games, they play against UCLA, Washington State, Oregon State, Utah, and Arizona. All winning programs, all good teams, 3 of them in the top 25. They haven't got a chance unless Prime can find a way to turn this team around. Look at this. The largest comeback in Stanford history, the 4th largest comeback in Pac-12 history, the 2nd largest road comeback in Pac-12 history, the largest halftime deficit overcome to win in Pac-12 history, and the largest blown lead in Colorado history. None of that is something you can be proud of. But if you're wondering what the problem is, I'm going to show you. This is the team meeting that they had just this week. And Dennis Thurman comes up to talk to the team. Listen to what he says.
Ask you guys a question. And he asked you a very serious question. He asked you, how many of you guys want to play pro football? No? Don't. I saw it yesterday. And 3/4 of you, 80% of you raised your hand. Played in the NFL for 9 years, and I coached up there for 18. So I've spent 27 years of my life in the NFL. 95% of you are not even going to get invited to an NFL camp. Did you guys hear me?
Think about that. 80% of them think they're going to the NFL. 95% of them will not. That's quite a disconnect.
95% of you are not going to get an invitation to an NFL camp. 98.5 are not going to make it. So what is that? 1.5 that are going to make it? Think about what I just said. So what are you going to do? Coach asked you that earlier this week. He said, what are you going to do? And the most shocking thing to me, sitting back there, was most of you did not have an answer. He said, what are you going to do? And the room was as silent as it is right now. You have no plan. You have no plan. You have to have a plan. A man has to have a plan if he's going to be successful in life. Okay? But let's stay with the football side of it. way some of you guys practice, the way some of you don't study and apply yourselves, you have no chance to play on Sunday. That's why you're not playing here. I don't have a specific position that I'm watching or coaching right now. So I get to walk around and watch all you guys. Some of you have the most horrific practice habits I've ever seen. I hear you guys bitching about your coach. I hear you guys complaining about him getting after you. I hear all of that. I don't say anything, but I hear it.
That is what's wrong with Colorado. Think about what he just said. These guys came to Colorado to play for Prime, and they're bitching and complaining about their coaches. And they have terrible practice habits. Maybe there's a reason they didn't play at their other schools. And the amazing thing is that some of them did and were very successful, and yet they came here and they can't seem to do anything. Shane Cokes, Kyrie Mans. Where are these people? These are guys who were sack leaders in their conference. They don't have any sacks. None to speak of. Very few tackles for loss. There's something deeply, deeply wrong with the mental psyche of this team. And it's up to Prime to find the answer. I don't know if he can. But I can tell you this, there's a lot of guys on that team that are on scholarship that won't be there next year. Because Prime will not put up with that. He will not put up with it.
Because you don't want to accept the truth. Most of you who are not playing, or in your mind are not, you don't feel like you're getting a chance, it is because you haven't earned a chance. Go play football. Football practice used to be my favorite part of the day. Why? I got to do something I love to do. I didn't have to do what the establishment or everybody else, go to school, study, go to study hall, do all that stuff. I didn't have to do that. I got to do the 2 hours of the day that I got to do something that I love to do.
Prime talked about that at halftime to the team. He said, some of y'all don't love it, you just like it. And if you don't love it, you're not going to be successful at it. It's that simple. When adversity strikes, you're going to fold. And that's exactly what happened to Colorado in this game. They folded. And now they get a week off to think about the worst loss in history for Colorado. And then they get to play 5 of the toughest teams in the Pac-12. They're 4-3. They got to win 2 more games to get to a bowl. They're not going to a bowl. They're not going to win 5 games. They're not going to win any more games this season unless Prime can find some magic key to turn these guys' heads around. But we're over halfway through the season, and they're like this. That would be really, really tough to fix.
You guys say you love to do it, but then you complain about the work that you have to put in. You don't love it. You do not love it. Because if you love something, what do? You take care of it. I'll say that to you guys again. If you love something or someone, you take care of it.
Come on, DJ.
So you guys love football? And you guys go out and practice the way you practice? You go out and don't compete for the ball when it's in the air? You do all the things that are contrary to what you say you need to do when you love something. Nobody can answer that for you. You guys have to answer that question for yourselves. If you want to be and have a chance to play pro football, most of y'all in here gonna have to change. You got to change, and change drastically and quickly. Or start thinking about that alternative to the question the man asked you last week. What are you gonna do if you don't?
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. There are people in that room that don't love the game, aren't willing to pay the price to be successful, and it's costing the team. I saw Shedeur get hit last night one time where he was obviously in pain and he had to walk it off. He's now been sacked 35 times. I know Prime won't do this, but if I was the coach of that team, I'd pull Shedeur and let Ryan Staub play. And I'd just tell the team, look, you're not going to win any more games, and I'm not going to have my son punished like this. So you can let him beat up on Ryan Staub and on the other backups, but not on my son. Because you don't love the game enough to protect him. You don't love the game enough to play to the level that you're capable of playing. That's just the reality of it. If you're a Colorado fan, I hate to say this to you, but you're going 4-8. You're not going to a bowl. It's that simple. And it's that sad. As always, I pray that you will be in good health and that you will live a long life, that you will prosper, that God will keep you safe, and that He will do the same for everyone that you love. And I pray that you will be anxious for nothing, but in all things, through prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, you will make your requests be made known to God. And the peace that passes all understanding will keep your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. Vietnam Era Vet out.